Humane Society in dire need of your help. A new animal welfare program is about to bring compassion to the next level, but it's a multi-million-dollar undertaking, and they can't do it without donations. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. Each year, the Ottawa Humane Society takes in thousands of animals, many surrendered because their owners can no longer afford to care for them. Now the organization is launching a new fundraising campaign designed to help more pets stay with the families who love them.
7-year-old Bruce doesn't know why he's here, but he's settling into his new temporary home at the Ottawa Humane Society after his owner faced a heartbreaking decision to surrender him.
He had a lot of porcupine quills embedded that needed to be urgently removed. Unfortunately, his owner wasn't able to provide for that needed urgent medical care due to costs.
It's a story staff here know all too well. On average, 4 pets are surrendered to the organization each day, with nearly half linked to financial pressures or housing challenges.
It is heartbreaking. People coming to us that due to just rising costs, general costs of living, they just aren't able to provide for and care for their pets anymore.
That's why the organization is launching a $15 million fundraising campaign to build a community veterinary clinic and a new behavioral campus for animals with complex needs.
People really want to be able to do well by their pets, but when they're faced with extraordinary care bills for those pets, it puts them in a really difficult situation.
The clinic would provide subsidized veterinarian care for income-qualified pet owners, including urgent treatment, wellness care, and dental services. The goal, to help families before they reach the point of surrender.
If we had an opportunity to help people in the community to keep those pets that they love, that allows more space and resources for us to be able to help those animals that are coming here who truly don't have any other option.
For Bruce, that help may be too late, but the hope is the next pet owner facing the same choice never has to say goodbye in the first place.
We're really leaning on our community to step up and support people and pets in our community.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
We have breaking news coming out of Ottawa's East End right now. That's where 2 women were taken to hospital after a driver backed into a retirement home. This is a live look at the Chapel Hill retirement residence at the corner of Paget Road and Innis in Orléans. Ottawa paramedics were called there just after 3 p.m. this afternoon. Paramedics say a woman inside the building was taken to hospital in serious but stable condition. The woman driving the car suffered minor injuries. We do have a reporter headed to the scene, and we'll share more details on this breaking news story as soon as it becomes available. A young man driving an e-bike remains in critical condition after a mid-morning crash at a busy Barhaven intersection. Emergency crews were called to the intersection of Strandherd Drive and Greenbank Road around 9:30 this morning after the collision involving a cube van. CTV's Tyler Fleming was at the scene today and joins us live in studio with more. Tyler.
Yeah, Stefan, police just reopened the road, but continue to look at all possible factors, including a power outage which left traffic lights dark. Police say a man in his 20s riding a motorcycle-style e-bike collided with a commercial refrigerated cube van in the intersection. Now, at the time of the crash, there was an area power outage which included the traffic lights. Hydro Ottawa says power was restored around 9:40 a.m. The collision happened around 9:30. Emergency crews did arrive quickly. The driver of the e-bike was taken to hospital in critical condition.
Because we're coming into the summer, there's more vulnerable users of the roadway out there, which would include e-bikes, bicycles, motorcycles. And when those seasons are upon us, that's when we ask people to be very much more aware of those users of the road around them. And that includes people driving motor vehicles and people driving those more vulnerable vehicles to make sure that everybody is following the rules of the road.
During power outages, intersections with traffic lights must be treated as a 4-way stop. Police will not confirm if this contributed to the crash. They are also asking anyone who witnessed the collision or who may have dash cam video to contact the Ottawa Police Fatal Collision Investigation Unit. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Tyler Fleming reporting live for us. Thank you, Tyler. An Nepean homeowner says a city-owned tree in her front yard is causing structural damage to her home, but the city isn't doing anything to stop it. CTV's Dylan Dyson joins us with details on this. Dylan.
Stefan, Nicole Roberts' house has seen its foundation sink and crack over the last year, and the root cause, she says, this tree, specifically this tree's roots. Roberts says after having 3 engineering reports done, it has been determined that this maple tree's roots have been extending out into her home and putting pressure on the foundation. The tree is planted close enough to the roadway that it remains city property. Roberts says she had City of Ottawa staff out in December to inspect the tree and hopefully take it down, but has yet to receive a final decision.
I would like a decision, because also the other thing is if they choose to remove the trees, all 3 engineers say my house shouldn't move anymore, right? It should be stable. Great, that's what I want, because I want this house to remain livable. I really hope the city will take measures to protect our home this year.
Robert estimates the tree has done roughly $150,000 in damage to her home. While she waits for a resolution, she started a petition calling on the city to change the rules around city trees on residential property that would expedite decisions just like this one, adding that this is an issue that has also impacted homeowners up and down her street. Stefan.
Thank you, Dylan. Dozens of people gathered outside of the Ottawa Catholic School Board headquarters today to protest the board's decision to eliminate bus attendance for students with special needs this fall. Parents, bus attendants, and supporters are raising questions and concerns over the change, which is expected to impact roughly 100 students and their families. Parents found out about the termination of the program earlier this month. They say the board's decision is irresponsible to the students who depend on bus attendants to help them get to and from school safely.
My daughter is medically fragile. She has seizures on her bus. I don't know what I would do without a bus attendant on the bus. My daughter goes to school all the way in Gloucester, so she's on the bus for 3 hours a day in total.
The board's decision is facing scrutiny from disability rights advocates. The Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act Alliance says school boards have a legal obligation to accommodate the needs of students living with disabilities. New data from the Ontario Medical Association shows overcrowding at the province's emergency departments is at critical or severe levels. Doctors who were surveyed indicate that overcrowding is impacting availability of ER beds and treatment spaces at hospitals. 3/4 of those surveyed say they begin shifts with beds or treatment spaces already occupied by patients awaiting admission to hospital, and that overcrowding has lengthened patient waiting times for treatment. A separate survey found that only 30% of Ontarians surveyed felt confident they would have emergency treatment in a reasonable amount of time. Coming up on CTV News at 5 with a new poll revealing the cost of groceries for single Canadians. We'll break it down with CFRA's Christy Cameron, and our Jackie Perez is joining us live in studio with the first look at the forecast. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. This afternoon we saw several moments of heavy downpour moving through quite quickly. Right now we don't see rain in sight, but it is still a chance that we could see this, even a risk of some thunderstorms moving through until about 8 p.m. this evening. Right now, though, temperatures around 22, 23 degrees, slightly cooler in Gatineau at around 17. Overnight conditions 14 and clear skies. This is the good news, but tomorrow will be very similar to today. Daytime high 22, but we could see another round of some rain mixed in with a chance of thunderstorms moving through. These details and more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. Check out the Gloucester Night Market this Friday, June 19th at the Earl Armstrong Arena parking lot. The outdoor market features local artisans and vendors. It runs from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. A live check on traffic right now, taking a look at the Queensway. You can see that it's fairly busy in the westbound lanes at Bronson. Eastbound is moving well at Bronson. Bayswater flowing well in both directions. Parkdale seeing slowdowns in both directions, but especially slow in those westbound lanes heading out towards Canada. You're watching CTV News at 5. A new survey finds many single Canadians are feeling the impact of higher food prices. The Interact survey found single Canadians spent roughly $102 a week on groceries. Meanwhile, couples who live together pay about $80 per person per week. And CTV's Christy Cameron is here to help us go off script right now, Christy.
Yeah, the thing is, though, the couples are arguing over how they spend that money. They actually did say that when Interact joined me on this show. But, you know, people who are living alone really do have it tough right now because they're paying the singles tax. You probably can't buy groceries in bulk to cut down on costs because if you're alone, it doesn't really make sense. You can find ingredients sometimes in smaller sizes, but they're not readily accessible. So you're often buying more food than you need, and then it goes in the crisper and it goes to waste. A lot of people are switching to cheaper cuts of meat, to no-name brands to save. But what's interesting, Steph, is that a lot of Canadians are still not willing to give up their sweet treats or their little treats here and there. I spoke with somebody from Interact earlier today. This is Lauren Mostowick, and she told me a little bit more about that.
What they won't do, and I loved this stat, is they are not prepared to give up their treats. Whether you're single and you're buying yourself your ice cream to get over your last breakup, or whether you're in a couple and you're looking for movie night snacks, nobody wants to stop buying those things.
Christy, Lauren hit the nail on the head. I was going to interrupt you and say it's emotional eating. I do it.
I had a great ice cream last night. I think what it is, though, is like we're not talking about something that's a lot of money. These are still what I would characterize as affordable indulgences.
I call it cheap therapy.
Cheap therapy. And I think it's because times are tight right now. Sign of the times that we consider that to be a luxury, going for Starbucks coffee maybe, or going to get
getting a Rice Krispie Square.
Rice Krispie Square, a brownie. It's just a little something to keep you going.
Make you feel good. Thank you, Christy. Interesting study. You can join the conversation, leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. And now watch Christy's segment anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel.
I thought, what do I make in pastry that I can convert to a butter tart?
Coming up on CTV News at 5, an Ottawa pastry chef earns bragging rights for his original take on a beloved Canadian treat. A live check on traffic right now. We're seeing major slowdowns in the westbound lanes from Parkdale out to Pinecrest. It might even start a little before that right now. And that's about a 35-minute delay. So consider an alternate route or give yourself some extra time. We'll be right back. Coming up later tonight on CTV, E-Talk starts at 7, then back-to-back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory at 7:30. Match Game begins at 9, Password at 10. Now for another check on the weather, Jackie's joining us live in studio tonight. And Jackie, I thought I may have heard some thunder above us in here in the Byron Market.
That's right. What started off as a mix of sun and cloud morning this afternoon, quite a different story. We saw periods of downpour. Right now, I took a peek outside. There is some light rain moving through. The good news is that it will clear by the time 8 p.m. rolls around. You can't see much through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature is 23 degrees, but it is a little bit cooler. Wind slightly picking up as well. But again, that rain continuing to pour down in downtown Ottawa. Again, as I mentioned, it should likely clear up just after 8 p.m. A look at tomorrow, very similar to what we saw today. Temperature-wise, about 16 degrees to start, a mix of that sun and cloud to begin. But again, you definitely want the umbrella because by the time the afternoon into the late evening, we will likely see some showers moving through, even perhaps at times heavier rainfall. You can see that by 8 o'clock, there is a chance that we could see a risk of thunderstorm moving in as well. Daytime high, about 23 degrees. We've got the winds a little bit more calmer for tomorrow than what we did see today, but keep in mind, it will feel cooler, that 23 degrees. Now here's a look at our future cast. Wednesday, 7 a.m., we'll start to see a little bit of rain moving through on Pembroke as well as the Brockville area. By noon, we could see that first round of rain moving in. And then again, later in the evening, closer to 5 p.m., we could see more rain moving in as well. Taking a look at the valley now, 13 in clear skies overnight tomorrow, 19 degrees, the chance of showers. Parts of the Seaway could see a risk of thunderstorms for tomorrow. 21 degrees is the anticipated daytime high. After we look at Wednesday, though, it's Thursday. That's going to be our rainiest day of the week. This gives you a closer idea of what 7 a.m. can look like. Look at most of eastern Ontario, even coming from the greater Toronto area. Lots of rain, heavy rainfall, anticipating between 20 to 25 millimeters of rain moving through. So Thursday is going to be our rainy day here in the capital. So this is just really a warm up to what we are seeing. Now here's a look at our 5-day forecast. Temperature-wise, 23 degrees across the board. Even our overnight lows sticking around the low teens. It's going to be rain, more rain, and perhaps even into the weekend. The good news is what I'm eyeing is that after Thursday and potentially the chance of showers for Friday, things are looking to lighten up for Saturday and Sunday, but you definitely want the umbrella for the remainder of this week.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree. Complete tree care from start to stump.
Tonight on Simply Ottawa, we're celebrating a very sweet achievement for a local pastry chef. Adrian Fontaine sells his baked goods at Milano's Pizza and Big Joe's Convenience on Baseline Road. He took part in Ontario's Best Butter Tart Festival last weekend in Midland, Ontario. Fontaine took first place in the professional wild style division for his submission, the lemon meringue butter tart. He won against more than 30 other contestants. Fontaine says his wife wanted him to submit his apple crisp tart, but he had a good feeling about the lemon meringue.
She said, you know, if you don't win, I'm going to bug you that you didn't submit the apple crisp. So when I did win, I looked at her and I said, hey, honey, it's a good thing I didn't bring the apple crisp, eh? So we had a good laugh.
Shots while you do this?
Guess he won that one. Fontaine has been making pastries for 43 years and butter tarts for about 25 of those. He's looking forward to competing again in next year's contest, hoping to keep up his winning streak with a new creation. A big congratulations to Adrian. Lucky for us, we are getting to try his award-winning butter tarts here in the newsroom today. We've got some right here. I'll hold one up for you. It looks completely and absolutely delicious and decadent, and we want to hear your stories of people doing good, spreading joy, making a difference, or marking a notable achievement. We'll be showcasing stories that touch our hearts and make us proud of our city, Simply Ottawa. You can send your story ideas to ottawanews@ctv.ca.
And they're going to clinch it appropriately with a total team effort.
Coming up for us here on CTV News at 5, a hockey tradition in Canada is coming to an end. We'll explain just ahead. Here's what else you need to know. The Ottawa Redblacks are back on home turf this Saturday. The team takes on the Toronto Argonauts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The Redblacks will debut their new jersey and are encouraging fans to wear white to the game to match the look. If you need gas tonight, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the McEwen Station on Carp Road in Stittsville. Regular gas there is going for 159.6 cents a litre. And here's another live check on traffic. Parkdale's starting to appear to be easing slightly this hour, but Churchill is certainly backed up in both directions, but especially in those westbound lanes. Pinecrest, slow going, but not too backed up at this time. St. Laurent eastbound, seeing some slowdowns. And if you are headed out to Orléans, just give yourself some extra time, or perhaps take an alternate route that's off the 174 or the 417. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's another live look through our rainy Centennial Glass sky cam. The temperature right now, 23 degrees. And it's time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
Because we're coming into the summer, there's more vulnerable users of the roadway out there, which would include e-bikes, bicycles, motorcycles.
A man in his 20s driving an e-bike was critically hurt following a crash earlier today in Barhaven. Roads were closed for hours for that police investigation. CTV's Tyler Fleming will have the latest.
Ottawa probably has the highest density of cryptographic expertise almost in the world.
As technology evolves, so do cybersecurity threats, and Ottawa sits at the forefront of the race to ensure government and financial data is safe from bad actors. CTV's Austin Lee will have that story.
We believe there's multiple. The sharing of firearms is common. We have 21 different shooting incidents with the .45 caliber, 6 with the 9mm.
Toronto police say a gun-for-hire network is behind a number of shootings in and around that city. 3 people now arrested. All of that and more coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today. New data shows for the second straight year there were fewer crimes on OC Transpo buses and the O train in 2025. The annual report shows there were around 412 crimes against a person in 2025, down from 444 the year before. There were about 700 property offenses in 2025. That's compared to 740 of those reported crimes in 2024. A new poll from RBC finds more than half of students are relying on loans, but a significant portion do not know how they work. The poll found more than half of students currently use or plan to use financial aid to help fund their post-secondary education. However, 25% say they don't understand how student loans work, with just 28% feeling very confident they understand how long it will take to repay their loans. Soccer fans came out to the Heart and Crown this afternoon to watch France take on Senegal in their FIFA World Cup match. France was favored to win this game, and they came away with a 3-1 victory over Senegal. Among the other teams playing today, Iraq taking on Norway at 6 p.m. and Argentina versus Algeria at 9 p.m. All games are on TSN.
And they're going to clench it appropriately with a total team effort.
After 75 years on the air, Hockey Night in Canada will no longer appear on the CBC. An agreement between Rogers and CBC that allowed Hockey Night to air on the public broadcaster expired at the end of the playoffs. CBC first aired Hockey Night in Canada in 1952 and will retain the Hockey Night brand. Sportsnet, which is owned by Rogers, says it will keep airing NHL games on Saturdays, calling it a time-honored tradition for Canadians. A warning from police for residents in the Osgood area about a bear who has been hanging around. This young bear has been spotted in the neighborhood in recent days. Police are asking residents to not approach or disturb the animal and to consider removing any bird feeders or food sources from yards. That is CTV News at 5. Thank you so much for watching. The early edition of National starts right now.